Okay, I think this is working. I just want to say, I'm tired as fuck, and my hair is really fucked up. I know I need to get a haircut, but just hear me out for a few minutes, or maybe I don't know how long this is gonna be, but this thought with an example kind of hit me. It's what is it, 11? Yeah, 11:19 right now, and I thought I could maybe post a video on this, so maybe somebody can get something out of it. Um, but I was thinking today about my insecurities, and I was thinking about something kind of interesting about it. But your insecurities are your imperfections that make you perfect. Let me say that one more time, because I know it sounds kind of weird. Your insecurities, your own insecurities, are your own imperfections, your opinionated imperfections that actually make you perfect. I'm going to give you an example of this. I'll give you two real world examples so you can try to understand this because I have a problem with self love myself, but I want you to maybe get this from my perspective. So let's say everybody in the world is a perfect human being. They have the best personality, they have the best looks, best height, they're super athletic. You get the gist. Everybody, man, woman, everybody in the world is perfect. Everyone's attractive, everybody's nice, everybody's kind, everybody's respectful, everybody's trustworthy. Let's say we lived in a world where everybody was perfect. Let me ask you this question. What would be not perfect if everybody was perfect? Let me say that again. If everybody in the world was perfect, they had nothing wrong with them, then what would even be classified as perfect if we're all perfect? Do you know what I mean? And it's almost like the odd one out, the black sheep, is actually more valuable than the person who's almost like a follower in the way. I'm going to give you another example of this that's going to make more sense. I don't know if any of you like Legos at all, but in Legos, they have these things called misprints. And I'm not sure if you know, but obviously, Legos, specifically like Star Wars and those kind of big categories, Disney, Star, I don't know, is that the same thing? Probably. But all those categories, like Toy Story, et cetera, they all mass produce these figurines, like the tiny, like, characters, like, what I'm talking about, right? So those, characters, those figurines, they're all printed perfectly. Maybe not exactly perfect, but they all have the same molds, the same colors, the same looks. You're going to pretty much get, if you open two, most of the boxes, they're all going to be pretty much the exact same print, the same exact color, the same exact shape. You get the gist because it's a mold. Now, however, there are misprints. And what I kind of find interesting is the misprints are actually more expensive. They can be 8 times more expensive than the regular Legos themselves. So it's interesting because all of the Legos that come out are essentially perfect, but the one imperfected one, the one imperfection character that has a misprint, is the one that happens to be way more valuable. There was a Han Solo character. I don't know if you guys know who Han Solo is from Star Wars. I remember seeing this. He was part of a Mos Eisley set, which was like a scene in Star Wars on Tatooine. And the regular figure himself goes for less than, I don't know, a few dollars maybe, maybe a little bit more. But the one with the misprint, it had misprinted legs. The kind of like where his gun was, it was printed just off on the bottom a bit more. It ended up selling for $175 on eBay. So it makes you think, and this makes me want you to understand this, is that the imperfections that you have, whether or not it's acne, whether or not it's about your looks, your weight, your personality, how you talk to people, what people think about you, what you think about yourself physically, internally, spiritually, whatever the case is that you might think people might not like about you, is what will make people like about you, if that makes sense. So, this is why I'm a very strong advocate for people that you should not be somebody else because nobody can be better than yourself for who you are. I can't be Ronaldo because I'm not Ronaldo. I cannot be Michael B. Jordan, don't get me wrong, he's attractive, he's good looking. I love to be in his shape. Don't get me wrong. But I can't be Michael B. Jordan because Michael B. Jordan is Michael B. Jordan. He's his own person. No matter how hard I try to be like someone who I'm not, I'll never be that person, if that makes sense, because there's only one you. So if you're ever insecure about something where you think I'm weird, or I'll give you another example too. I know I'm sorry this is kind of long, but just hear me out on this because I'm really like I really want to advocate for this because I personally struggle with this myself too because I'm a very insecure person, to be honest with you. But my mom, when she moved to America, we're from well, not we, she's from my whole family's from Turkey originally. When she came to America to learn speak better English because she knew a little bit at the time when she went to university in Turkey, she went through 3 to 4 translators and teachers because she ended up firing every single one because it wasn't the fact that she wasn't learning English. You know what pissed her off so much? It was her accent that pissed her off. Because back then, during that time, early 2000s, she was like a foreigner that came to the US, and she thought, I don't know if she had people that made fun of, which she may have, people made fun of her for her accent, for how, Turkish people talk. Because when a foreigner, especially a Turkish person, learns English, they're going to have a little bit of an accent to them. But she got to the point where she was crying. She was almost suicide. I shouldn't say that. She almost wanted to just bink herself because of how much this accent that she had just pissed her off so much. And like to me, when she told me that, I was like, wow, that sounds crazy. But now looking back at it, I'm like, that's insane. Like that accent that she had, and now, she's been living in the US for, you know, 35 plus years now, 40 plus years now. And she speaks like a normal, pretty much American, so to say. But back then, like she wanted to speak like like just a regular like English person, like American person, just regular, English, not with this accent. And like when I started looking back at that, I was like that's horrible. Like the fact that that was the reason why she went through 3 to 4 teachers and she was still learning English. To me, that told me that insecurities are more than just things you don't like about yourself. They almost like they rewire your brain of how you think about yourself and how other people will think about you. And in my opinion, it's I can't say it's something that I'm perfect and I can't give you like a exact example of, what you can do, but all I can say to you is that the reason why we have what we don't like about ourselves is because what we don't like about ourselves may actually be the reason of why we are who we are. And I just don't want somebody, I don't want to get emotional, but I don't want somebody to look back at themselves and not love themselves more just because of the things that they don't think are right about them, if that makes sense. So I'll end it off with this. Um, if you have anything, whether or not it's personal, whether it's internal, external, spiritual, you get my whole gist about yourself that you don't like, just remember that might be just the thing that will make that person like you even more. Whether or not it's your personality, again, everything. People are always insecure about physical. They're never worried about the internal. They don't see things outside of just physical. In my opinion, just love yourself for who you are. Don't change for who you cannot change for. And please just take care of yourself and just remember, let me say this one more time. Your insecurities are your imperfections that actually make you perfect. Goodbye.